Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Revealing the Narc, and on this channel we dive deep into the intriguing world of narcissism. I'll often use public figures as examples to illustrate how these behaviors can manifest in real life. If this sounds interesting to you, please like and subscribe. And I should mention, everything I say on this channel is in my opinion and it's all allegedly. I'd also like to clarify that I am not a therapist and the content shared on this channel is not meant as professional advice. So let's get into this video. Today I was doing some searching on the internet and an article popped up about Trevor Engelson, Meghan Markle's alleged first husband. And what I want to do today is I'm going to go through two articles that kind of summarize their history. And then I want to look at behaviors that could be indicators of being a narcissist. So let's get into it. The article is titled Meghan Markle's lesser known £13,000 engagement ring that she sent back to ex-husband. Meghan Markle's ring featured a cushion-cut diamond in a grand cathedral setting and a thin platinum band with pave diamonds. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure. Meghan Markle reportedly returned her £13,000 engagement ring to former husband Trevor Engelson after their marriage ended in 2013, and let's just say she did not do this in a very kind way, which is pretty hypocritical when your friend is setting you up on a date allegedly with a prince and your only concern is he kind? Or wait, what did she say? She said, is he nice? Because if he isn't kind, I don't see how it could work out. And you know what? Oh, Meghan, the transparency. Because it's easy to take advantage of a nice guy and a kind guy. Is that why you asked, Meghan? Were you trying to see how easy it would be to get your hooks into him? I think so. I think that's why she said that. Well, I think she said that to try to make herself look like, oh, I'm not, interested in him because he's a prince. If you told me he's not nice, I wouldn't go for it. No, she was trying to play this image of who she's expected to be. And I think another part of it was, hey, can I manipulate this guy? The former Suits actress, then aged 30, and producer Trevor tied the knot in Jamaica in September 2011. Just 1 month later, Meghan was spotted on a red carpet wearing a sparkling diamond engagement and wedding rings. Nestled next to a matching pave, I hope I pronounced that right, wedding band, Meghan could be seen sporting her first engagement ring, which featured a cushion-cut diamond in a grand cathedral setting and a thin platinum band. In January 2013, Meghan was seen with two more rings on her hand, another delicate one and a chunky diamond band. However, just 2 months later, the former actress and Trevor got divorced. The pair reportedly got divorced due to irreconcilable differences, as reported by the Metro. Trevor was reportedly left devastated by his now former wife's actions of returning the ring. In an ITV documentary, Prince Harry and Meghan, Truly Madly Deeply, which aired in 2018, Meghan's friend Abby Wathen, sorry if I pronounce it wrong, spoke of how empowered Meghan felt after her first divorce. So I just want to make some commentary about this right here. If she felt empowered after the divorce, that means that she felt she was shedding a burden. We all know Meghan is a mean girl, allegedly. So you can imagine how Meghan was likely treating Trevor towards the end of that marriage. And I'm bringing this back to these narcissistic cycles. And in my opinion, up until that moment of the divorce being decided that is moving forward, Meghan had been devaluing him probably for a very long time. And I do want to specify, because I've always talked about this narcissistic cycle of love bombing, devaluing, and then discard. There can be discard without a physical breakup, and this involves being completely, like the narcissist will be completely unattached to you emotionally. Like the body will be there, but that person has no, like you mean nothing to them. Like completely indifferent to you. And it's the coldest feelings. If any of you have ever experienced this, please leave it in the comments. And I'm sorry that you have, but I think there's this misconception that the discard has to be like a physical breakup, but the way I've experienced it, it's not necessarily a physical breakup. Now let's get into the second article. Meghan Markle lived 2,000 miles apart from Trevor Engelson, who she nicknamed Trevity Trev, while filming Suits, and told friends she didn't want to be possessed. So this article is an older one, it's from 2022, but there were some things in it that I felt were relevant to our topic. The article continues. Tom Bower wrote in Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors, that the then actress, who was sailing to stardom on TV show Suits, saw her role as a potential get-out card, if necessary, from her relationship with Trevor Engelson. Okay, so just to point out the obvious, or maybe it's not so obvious, it's not called a get-out card, it's called a get-out-of-jail-free card. And I don't know where this phrase came out, like if this was something Meghan was describing to her friends, that she felt that she needed a get-out-of-jail-free card by filming Suits, or if it was something that Bower said or this journalist said. But what you can interpret that as, Meghan felt she was in prison. Meghan felt she didn't have control of her life. Meghan felt she was tied down, and she said, in quotations, it says earlier in the article, that Meghan didn't want to feel possessed. The article continues. She even reportedly gave him the affectionate nickname Trevity Trev. After years of struggling to find stardom, living in LA with Trevor, we all know about how hard that was out there for her. Meghan filmed the pilot for Suits in 2010 in New York. When the show was picked up for 12 episodes in early 2011, it was announced production would take place in Toronto instead to save money. And here's the juicy part. According to Bower, Meghan was the only cast member who was pleased about the decision and wanted to live in the Canadian capital rather than commute back and forth from LA where Trevor was still living. The author wrote, to the producer's bemusement, Meghan was keen to set up her permanent home in Toronto rather than commute like all the other actors from Los Angeles. So what does that tell you? This was Meghan's ticket out. The article continues. He also revealed Meghan decided to stay in Toronto in November even after filming ended. Leaving Los Angeles and Trevor, Meghan told the producers, was not a downside, he wrote. However, Bower claimed one friend heard Meghan describe her first husband as super cheesy. Bower wrote, although Meghan could commit herself to Trevor, she did not like being possessed. He added, if necessary, Suits was her get-out-of-jail-free card from the relationship. I do have to wonder what it was that Meghan was doing in Toronto during that time, 2010, 2011. I wonder if this is when she started forging her relationship with Marcus Anderson and starting her relationship also with the Soho House. Just something to look into. These are the types of things that may keep that leave people not wanting to, in quotations, be possessed and wanting to have a get out of jail free card. So based on this information and what we know about Meghan so far, what I want to do is talk about her relationship with Trevor and look at it through a lens of the assumption that Meghan is a narcissist. And if we do that, we might want to consider things such as control, self-interest, and detachment that can manifest in the relationship. And I think we see all of those based on these articles and official and unofficial accounts. So I didn't mention it here, but according to reports, Meghan's relationship with Trevor Engelson started with an intense romance, and they dated for around 7 years before they married in 2011. A narcissistic individual might engage in love bombing during the early stages of a relationship, and what they'll do is they'll display a lot of warmth, affection, and charm, and they want to secure a deep emotional connection with their partner. In Meghan's case, this phase would have aligned with her early acting, and she was struggling at the time. Trevor at the time was supportive as she tried to make her mark in Hollywood, and at the time, Trevor was more successful than Meghan was. And you guys can fact check me on that, but I think we can always assume that anyone Meghan chooses as a partner is someone that she will gain an advantage from, that is there to benefit her in some way. I mean, that's the same for all her friendships as well. So, in my opinion, I see a lot of parallels between this approach Meghan had with Trevor and the approach she had with Harry. As Meghan's career took off, particularly after she got her role on Suits, their relationship started facing challenges. Meghan was based in Toronto, Trevor was in LA, and the distance is said to have strained their connection. For someone with narcissistic traits, this period of career growth might intensify a sense of self-focus and independence, and I think it would heighten her arrogance, and she would start to begin feeling superior to Trevor. I also want to mention that if I'm not mistaken, Meghan had this expectation that Trevor would help her land roles, because Trevor was in the industry as well, and I think he had created some films and he wouldn't cast her. So I think Meghan was already holding some resentment towards Trevor. So seeing herself succeed despite his help, and then I think he began to start to flounder. This was just a really bad situation. Meghan was feeling incredibly superior to him. Another thing that could happen as a result of the career growth is her potentially deprioritizing relationships and focusing on her career. Bauer's biography suggests that Meghan became increasingly career-driven and focused on her aspirations, which, to an assumed narcissist, might outweigh the significance of nurturing a long-distance relationship. Another thing to consider is how abrupt this was. Bauer's book describes that Meghan allegedly ended the marriage suddenly, sending back her wedding rings through mail. Like, she didn't even go see him, she sent it by mail, which I think we can interpret it as a sign of detachment. From a narcissistic perspective, this could be seen as discarding, in my opinion, and she does it because the relationship no longer aligns with her goals or image. So I think this could be very much what's happening right now too. As soon as Meghan starts seeing that her goals and image aren't lining up with Harry's, and she has the means and ability and the potential of finding someone better, or has already found someone better, she might do the same thing and discard Harry. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, because that is their cycle. Another thing to mention is that narcissistic individuals, they struggle with empathy in moments of separation. So what they'll do is they'll look at the end of a relationship more as transactional or logistical rather than an emotional basis. So what Meghan did was sending the ring back. It lacked feeling, it lacked emotion, but it was logistic, right? It was logistic. So following the divorce, Meghan began to reshape her image, which she does all the time, but she started focusing on her social circle as well. This aligns with narcissistic traits of self-reinvention and strategic networking. Some people say that at the time she distanced herself from old friends and connections, and this is something we hear about Meghan all the time, that once she doesn't feel that she can benefit from you, she sees a shinier apple or a shinier toy, she will drop everything and go to the shinier toy. And that seems difficult for most of us to do, but when you don't really form deep connections with people, then it's really easy to just move on to the next one. So once Meghan basically shed herself of her marriage, she began to cultivate relationships that support her new personal narrative, that align with her new goals, and shed her past association because they no longer served her. So I think I'm going to end the video here. I'm wondering if you have ever experienced this, and if you have, I'm sorry that you have, but please feel free to share it in the comments. If this video was interesting to you, please like and subscribe, share it with your friends. It goes a long way in promoting my video, and it boosts my video. The algorithm gets all excited about it. Or, you know what, let's be real, I don't know how all that works. I've just heard other people say that it helps the algorithm, so I trust them that helps the algorithm. But I appreciate all of you being here. And I want you to know that any feedback you give me, I take it into complete consideration. I've made a couple of changes over the last few weeks with these videos, and I hope that they're becoming more interesting and more enjoyable. So I think that's all I have to say for today. I will talk to you all soon. Goodbye.